Hello, everyone. Good to have you here. Paul Trani back, hosting the one and only Howard Pinsky.
Hi. It's weird sitting in this seat and not the hosting seat.
Yeah, I know. It's going to be
backwards
fun.
Today. It will be fun.
You're in control. The power in your hands right now.
Yes.
It's pretty exciting.
Yes.
So happy to have you here for little UX UI in Adobe XD. Yeah, we have you for the next 2 hours.
2 hours. It's a long time.
Are you
But you
excited?
just finished a 2-hour stream.
Yeah.
That's
no,
crazy.
Fine.
I don't know how
It's,
you did it. And now you're here with me.
I know. What am I doing?
I
Coffee.
don't know.
It's all, I got a new coffee warmer, and that's my secret. So
Did you refill that?
yeah, I had 2 of them. So
Oh
yes,
my
I
gosh.
actually did refill it. So yeah, I'm powered by caffeine right now, and
Yeah.
I hope these people are as well. We have today on Adobe Live again. Big thank you to good old Claudia. Did a fantastic job with her Photoshop Daily Creative Challenge.
As always.
Yeah, we'll review those tomorrow. I did some hand lettering. We'll continue that tomorrow. Jesse just wrapped up a Daily Creative Challenge. And then we have Howard for 2 hours. I've been trying to get him to like spill the beans on something or like say something like that's coming that I don't know. That's my job. That's why I'm sitting
I can
here.
talk about some stuff, but there's some maybe surprises that I can't talk about.
Yeah. I do like surprises. So I kind
Yeah.
of don't want you to spill them, but also yeah, I'm just happy to have you here. So
Yeah.
yeah, tell us what's the plan? What are we gonna be covering today?
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
All right, let's just see what happens.
We're gonna be designing some cool stuff in XD. I'm gonna try to jump into and design some social media assets. One thing I've been wanting to release is a UI kit that kind of focuses on social media. So I figured now's a good time to get that stuff going.
Okay.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
I think so. We're gonna be using XD, tips and tricks, auto animate, of course, components and states. And maybe we'll drop some hints. I'm not sure. We'll see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure you have. Well, actually, I don't know. I'm sure there's been times when you've had multiple builds on your machine and you're worried about using the wrong one.
I almost made that
check.
mistake this morning. I was using the next version of XD last night to build some of these assets. Then I realized, oh no, there's some stuff in here that I can't show.
Right.
So I had to uninstall it this morning before we went live.
Oh wow.
So if
we're
I have
so
to open
close.
if I have to open that file for whatever reason, I won't be able to because it needs the next version of.
Yeah, exactly. That's a huge thing, especially for you.
Yeah.
But we're gonna have you here, Kara and Alexander and Richard. We're happy to be here together. It's fun when you get 2 evangelists together.
Yeah.
And then they just like talk your ear off. Is what's gonna happen.
Richard saying, "Wow, the dream duo of Howard and Paul." This is the first time we streamed together.
Oh yeah, I guess we haven't.
Yeah.
It's typically like you'll be with somebody either before or after me or vice versa. It's never like at the same time. It's all like, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think today, but streaming right next to each other, basically.
Yeah.
So this will be good. Diego, hopefully you enjoy this. This is going to be fun. I talked about XD, even using XD for like Illustrator, even just using the ability to like, do some quick, if you want a prototype, but more just getting a link of your assets out there to the world. It's
Yeah.
really cool.
And what's cool is you can just bring your Illustrator files into XD. You can copy and paste elements. It's fun stuff.
You can either copy and paste them or just have it linked back if you want to as well.
Right.
Because I
Upload
talk about the
Creative
problem. It's like,
Cloud.
chances are I misspelled something, I screwed something up.
Always.
But if you have that live link to where you can change it later on, it's super powerful.
Yeah,
So,
Adriano's saying, please, Howard Pinsky, make that mistake about opening the wrong version. All I will say is that I'm hosting a stream on Wednesday on Facebook. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay, into it. Wednesday. on
You may hear
Facebook.
some stuff. Maybe
Yeah.
Wednesday afternoon. Maybe I'll drop something then.
I'm gonna try to
knows?
trip you up by acting like either today or tomorrow's Wednesday. So yeah, here we are as part of our Wednesday stream.
Of
We're gonna show
course.
you something new.
Well, I can confirm that anchor links are coming. to
Oh,
XD.
good.
That was
Anchor,
confirmed
good.
on Twitter.
Yeah.
That's all I can confirm right now.
Yeah.
Whether there are more things or not, we'll see.
Super fun.
Yeah.
And I'm excited.
Me too.
So if I switch to your screen, am I okay to switch to your screen?
We should be good.
All right, man.
I do have a dev build hiding
Oh,
somewhere with some stuff that's
Oh.
coming in the future, not this month, probably not next month, but in the future. They're working on some really cool stuff. I saw someone on Twitter not too long ago saying that XD hasn't changed since 2016, which was a strange thing to say because it's changed a lot.
What is that even based on?
But I don't know. But
like
specifically,
what, we didn't move icons around? You want us to change it that way? Hey, guess what? Everything's in the lower right.
But specifically, this person was saying that there are a lot of things at the top of the request board, which I believe he was probably referring to user voice, that hasn't been released yet. So we've definitely tackled a lot of that stuff, like auto animate was like for micro interactions. There are a bunch of things that the team has already tackled. But what I will say is there are currently things on user voice at the top that the team is working hard on. There is some really cool stuff coming this year and beyond, so stay tuned for that. And if anyone has questions about XD, about design, whatever it might be, throw it in there. Paul's taking a look. Yeah. I might take a peek. I'm just so used to looking up and down.
By all means, yeah, keep it active. We're here. That's why we do this live, so we can answer your question.
Yeah.
As well. It is daylight savings time, so that's also. I forgot all about that. Seems like ages ago.
Indeed. So Richard's asking about the Anchor Links preview. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, there was us. There's me too. There's my stream on Wednesday, which may or may not contain something fun. Anchor Link. There's me again. I'm all over the place. Where is the Anchor Links preview? Here we go. It's nothing. It's not like too crazy. I mean, the feature's great, but it's a very simple.
Perfect. Like,
sneak.
Literally from this video, I get the whole idea of how these anchor links work.
Yeah, you'll be able to have links at the top of your artboards, maybe fixed to the side, and you can be able to basically navigate to anything else on your artboard, which is cool, which a lot of people have been asking for, especially those who make long form content. So that's a thing. Anyways, let's dive into this. So my name's Howard Pinsky. I'm sure many of you have seen me before hosting Adobe Live, hosting the Daily Creative Challenges. I will be hosting another one, I believe, at the end of March. I just wrapped up, if Gus Spot is watching, he'll be happy to hear, I just wrapped up the drafts of my challenges coming at the end of March, which may or may not contain some of the new features that are coming in March, which I can't say what is. Anchor points, obviously. I've been with Adobe for about a year and a half, something like that, I believe. Maybe I can't keep track of time, but I'm having a great time. Here's some of my work. Here's a little BB-8 that I did using components and states, which is always fun.
That is
pushing
cool.
The bounds of XD. You know. Yeah, I'm huge into interactions using auto animate. We might explore this today during the process of creating these social media assets. There's GusBot in the house. He says thank you. I haven't sent them over, but I will send them after this stream. Yeah, we might explore some exploding hearts, micro interactions, some fun design things like this. And if you are new to XD or you don't know my work, if you want to go to letsxd.com, all of my videos are there, including Danny's videos. Danny's one of our amazing PMs, and she has a whole Getting Started series on Let's XD. But yeah, I have a ton of videos up there. I've also been releasing 5-minute challenges to kind of go along with our daily creative challenges. These are released every second Monday, and they're just, a 5-minute quick challenge you can do when we don't have challenges on a daily basis. So yeah, have fun. Go knock yourself out. Yeah. All right.
I don't think people realize how hard it is to make a quick challenge, like a 5-minute. Some of those shorter videos are really impactful.
Oh gosh, those are actually
hard to make.
Yeah, they are. I used to do I think I was the one who started the 1-minute Photoshop videos long ago, and then Adobe kind of picked that up, and a bunch of other people picked that up. I think it was in 2012 or 2014, something like that. But those were some of the hardest videos that I made. Because you got to condense everything into 1 minute, but at the same time you got to make sure it makes sense. It's difficult, and you do this too. It's not easy.
Yeah, it's not easy.
Yeah,
so it's all good. Tell me if this is easy or not, or even possible. But Steve's asking if you could use actually Adobe Animate and bring that into XD.
Interesting.
Animate into XD.
No, so that's something the team is exploring. They're exploring video files and GIFs as well. That's one of the big features that people are asking for. Whenever you start talking about moving elements, especially videos and maybe large GIF files, GIF or GIF? What do you say?
I say GIF.
Very good. I like you. There's always the possibility that it could, just bring down the application in terms of performance. So that's one thing the team is really working hard on, in addition to a few other things, making sure that if we do support videos and GIFs, or maybe when we do, it'll happen eventually, that it doesn't, performance doesn't suffer. So they're exploring a few things.
Yeah, that is good, and I think that's been a request for a while as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. It's nice that you can actually take animation, go the other way, take it take assets out of XD into like After Effects.
Yeah.
For instance.
Yeah, if you do need more control over your animation, you can do that. Rashid is saying, the 5-minute challenge got me started doing the daily challenges. That's great. That is great. Richard, do we have a left-right drag feature coming? I cannot confirm or deny that something like scrollable groups, which is one of the top requests, is in the works. Cannot confirm or deny. But yeah, something a lot of people ask for, something I've been wanting for a while. We'll see. We'll see what happens. All right, so let's just have some fun. I'm going to just start off. We're going to design for iPhone. Maybe if we have time, maybe tomorrow, we'll expand and go to desktop. Who knows?
Yeah.
A lot of this is improvised. This was a fairly last-minute thing. And we're just going to have some fun. So I'm going to start off with an iPhone. By the way, isn't this the cutest repeat grid icon?
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that cute?
That works.
Anyways, we're going to start off with an iPhone.
Did you make that?
I did make that in XD.
Okay.
I cannot open that file because that was made in the next version of... yeah, let me see what happens if I tried to open it. But I'm pretty sure it'll tell me, yeah, I can't do it. Sorry. Maybe at some point in March I can open this file for all of you. All right. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna start off. There are lots of ways to actually. Let me see. Switch to your screen for a second.
Yeah.
I want to bring up my notes, but I don't know what I have on here.
All right. So let me just switch over really fast.
I want to kind of show you the process of how I usually start a project. There we go. Very good. Yeah, that would have revealed some things.
Yeah. No, it's all good.
Okay, we're good now.
All right.
We can switch back. So, people start projects in many different ways. Some people grab a sketchbook, and some people, Jack's saying we need repeat grid stickers. We do. Maybe I'll get on that. Yeah, some people grab a sketchbook and just, draw things out. Some people just dive into XD or whatever application they're using and start blocking things out. I'm a big fan of lists and just throwing things on a note. And that's kind of what I did for this design. I don't know exactly where I'm going to go with this. I don't know how much of this we're going to cover. But I just, I went through some inspiration from Dribbble, from Behance. I grabbed my phone. I looked at the Twitter application, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, a bunch of different social networks and platforms. Richard's saying, Howard acting like a CIA agent here. Yes, I am. And I just started jotting things down on what's necessary and what I would like to see in a social media application. And this probably isn't going to turn out to be some sort of revolutionary platform. It's probably going to look very similar to many of the applications we all use on a daily basis, but hopefully some of you pick up on some fun stuff. So there's, of course, navigation, home screen, and everything that's on the home screen, details, a profile we'll probably have to build out. Notification center. We might go, if we have time, a light and dark mode that we can toggle between, which is going to be fun. We can use components for things like that. Login, sign up experience, and messages. So we're actually going to start all the way down here. This was not done in any particular order. We might want to do like a login experience or a sign up page or a onboarding, and that could really determine and help me figure out what the color scheme is, what the style of this application is going to look like. And I would love all of your help in the chat. If you have suggestions on what should be in a social media application or a UI kit, this is what it's going to eventually turn into, throw it in the chat. We'll be watching, and I would love to hear suggestions.
Yeah, that is good. I think it's interesting to even see if there's what out there is even kind of close to what this would be. What other social feed apps are out there. And just to see how they executed it or whatever, I don't really know of any. I don't use any.
Right.
And there should be one. Why isn't there one? Not yet.
That would be fun.
I use Smart News, which is a news aggregator. So I use news aggregators, which might be just something to think about. It's how do they do it?
Yeah.
And how that relates to this.
Yeah, I know a lot of it probably comes down to APIs and stuff like that, but I would love one application where I can tweet, I can post something on Instagram, I can Snapchat, I can post to Facebook, just all in one. I know Buffer kind of does some of that stuff, but it's not really an application you can download that looks similar to.
Yeah, this is for ingest. Do you want to ingest all that content, or your whole idea is to actually output? Are you looking
probably
at
both.
Output? Okay.
Yeah.
I think I'd want that because I'd have to go back and see if I actually posted on something already or whatever.
Yeah. So starting off, I think just on the basic level, let's just block some elements. So this is going to be, let's say, an onboarding screen where it's going to show all the things you can do. Maybe you'll be able to swipe between. You may have seen on Twitter, possibly, I posted a little bit of a sneak. Let's find my profile of kind of what I was working on last night. This sort of thing. Just a little bit of a, little animation as you're swiping between.
Pretty.
Yeah.
I like it.
And this is just done with a rectangle, a rounded rectangle, and a mask.
Yep.
Yeah. And hopefully, it's simple,
what is
right?
the mask? I'm curious of what you use the mask for.
It's gonna be fun, isn't it? Because there's two ways you can do this, right? And I'll get into
like
it.
A rounded rectangle, and that's what I was thinking.
Right.
It was.
So my initial thought is let's we have a lot of time.
You do your
No, we have a lot of time. Let me show you. So my initial thought was to create a rectangle, round this out, right? Let's change the color to like a red or a pink so people can see it. And this was my initial thought. You do something like this. Yes, I know what auto animate is. Thank you, XD. And you do, I probably actually need this a little bit larger. So this was my initial thought. I know what guides are. I had to clear my preferences, so it's reminding me of all these things. So my initial thought was this. You do this, right? And then you have 3 artboards, and then you shrink this down. You basically do a time trigger from this first one to the second one, and then to the third one. But I like condensing as many artboards as possible.
Yeah.
So essentially what you're doing, in this case, you are also you're grabbing a mask. So you're duplicating this layer, so now we have 2 of them. Select both of them, you're basically masking that circle inside of that mask. So nothing really looks different right now. But what you're gonna do, if I remember what I did correctly, this one in the background is gonna be a little bit longer. I think, right? No, the mask is gonna be longer for the first state. Like this. And now you're gonna duplicate it. You're gonna move this guy over.
I got it.
You see it now?
Actually, your mask doesn't even need to change.
Wait, how did I do it? I can't even
Your
open that
mask
file.
doesn't even need to change. Because isn't it always going to be that size?
It will, but you need the mask to be a little bit longer to allow it to expand and then contract on 2 artboards.
I see what you're doing now. I get
Yeah,
I
Jack
get
sees what I'm doing, but I can't remember the exact steps that I took.
I don't think I just don't think you need to animate the mask is all.
And maybe not.
I think it just needs to stay
Oh, no,
there.
wait, hold on. Yes, this is what I think I did. I did this, but then I grabbed the mask. You do have to make the mask a little bit smaller, basically to the circle size. So this is 125, 125. There we go. And now, if I remember it correctly, if I do, let's say, we'll do a tap, and we'll do an auto animate, and we'll do, let's say, an ease in and out, 0.8 seconds, and then woo.
See it again. Do it again.
Do it again. Woo. Yeah. So now it's 2 artboards instead of 1, or instead of 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did everybody get that?
I hope so.
Because there will be a test later. It's called your career.
Yeah. I'll be doing it again once we get to that part on the actual design. But let's go ahead and dive in. So I'm just gonna start blocking things out. And at the top of this artboard, I'm a big fan of blobs. And woo, everyone's saying woo. I don't know what you call them, but I just want to, grab a circle. I can constrain it to a perfect circle if I wanted to by holding down Shift. And I've got this cool little blob in here. And what I can do is double click on the path, the outline of the circle to Marissa's saying, hey, it's Mr. Poppins. Yes, I'm probably not going to use Poppins today. I've been kind of moving away from it because I've been using it way too much. Yeah, I can double click on this and just start playing with the line just to create this fun little blob effect. Just like that. I love blobs. You like blobs, Paul?
I do like blob. I like nebulous shapes that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fun little blob. It's not a perfect blob. There's some issues with these lines, but you know what? That's okay. Blobs are not perfect. Ash is saying, I love how smooth it is. Yeah, auto animate's very smooth. Now, the color I'm not sure what direction I want to take the color. Now, we were talking about importing Illustrator files earlier, right? I grabbed from Adobe stock, I grabbed some really cool illustrations that I may want to just bring into XD. So there's a few ways you can do this. You can go up to the file menu and you can import it directly onto this artboard, or you can just drag it down to XD and open it up. These are pretty big files, so it's going to take a second or two, but in a moment, there we go. We have an Illustrator file. And what's nice is, a while back we added blend modes to Adobe XD, and some of these layers have blend modes on them. And previously, before blend modes was introduced, there goes your camera again. It'll be back. Woo!
There we are. We're back.
Yeah, before blend modes was introduced, this would have looked very strange, but now it just looks perfect. But it also contains this nice color in the background that I may want to use as well. So I'm actually going to just grab all these images, copy them, and paste them. And now we have them in this document. And they're all vector, which is the thing I love about this. Mm-hmm. There's all the groups that come over from Illustrator. There's a ton of different paths, all this fun stuff. I'm not going to touch any of that stuff because I like the illustration as is. But I'll just make it smaller.
I like those nice gradients in there.
Yeah. And I might want to use this color for this blob at the top. Although that color is not bad, but
Both work. By the way, we're doing chat and win in about less than 10 minutes.
Ooh, less than 10 minutes. We're moving fast.
Yeah, sorry I didn't remind you earlier.
Rude. So I'm just going to play around with this gradient until I get something that looks similar to this blob thing at the bottom. It looks like it might have been a radial gradient, but linear is probably going to work just as well. And there is, Marissa's asking about struggling to make blobs. There is, I don't remember the website, but there is a website that's like a blob generator. It's really cool. I don't remember where, I tweeted it a long time ago. I'm sure if you search, if you search on Twitter, it's around, or Paul might be able to find it somewhere.
But it sounds fascinating.
It is fascinating. Now, one thing I do want to keep in mind, there's a few things I want to keep in mind, but when I'm designing for a display like this, in this case it's an iPhone 10, 10s, 11 Pro display, there's going to be that notch at the top. We all love the notch. There's the home indicator at the bottom. And you really don't want to touch those two areas. So it's like somewhere right about here and a home indicator. There are actual guidelines on, and there's templates too if you want to download those, but it's basically something like this if you want to eyeball it. So you don't want to put anything that you have to interact with in this area up here and this area down here. I also want to keep in mind that, at least on iPhone, some devices support this. Oh, blobmaker.app. That could be a jack.
Oh, yeah.
A jack.
This is, I think that's it, because that's where I'm at right now.
That's the one, yeah.
Boom. What?
Yeah.
This is the best part.
Isn't this cool? It's so simple,
like
but
complexity, boop, 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 boop.
Yeah.
And once more, like contrast. This is just fun to play with.
I know, you can just do it all day.
Yeah, like this, and then SVG, which is what
Bam.
you want. So
fancy.
Thanks for the
Thank you, Jack. And someone else, Rashid, also mentioned it.
Oh, there's looks like there's a couple out there.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah, super.
I almost spilled water all over your desk.
It is okay. It's not like there's any expensive electronics in here.
All right, so yeah, back to what I was saying. The other thing that you want to keep in mind is that you really don't want to push your elements to the very edge of a display. They make it hard to interact with. Of course, if you want, you can do something like this, right, where some images kind of push off to the side. That's fine in some cases. But if you want anything to interact with, also just for aesthetic purposes, it doesn't look as breathable if you have stuff, especially text, right on the edge of the display. So usually what I do is I just drag a few guides out. 24 pixels from the left is usually pretty good. 32 gives a little bit more breathing room. We'll go for about 32 on each side. You can see that contextual information at the top that's letting me know it's 32 pixels from the right and 311 pixels from the guide on the left. So it's kind of fun. Just to,
it'd be fun is if the ladder, this guy on the ladder was like, coming from down there.
Oh, that could be interesting. And because this is vector, I can probably dive in here, find that. Ooh, there's the ladder there.
What?
Let's see what happens if I just.
Could you? Yeah.
Okay. So responsive resize is trying to do something. I can turn off responsive resize.
Oh yeah.
Look at that.
That's fun. Ooh, look. Ooh, you even got it like almost matched up with his feet. Yeah, that looks
Look at that.
That works awesome.
This is why Paul's here.
Yeah.
He's got good design suggestions.
Commentary.
He's my little floating art director.
Yeah.
That's fancy. Yeah, so we got this. We can just kind of move it around. But of course, we might want some information down at the bottom to kind of tell us what this specific app is, what you're able to do with it. So let's start laying out some more elements. So we might want some sort of a header. So for now, I'll just type out header. And I'm going to go for, instead of Poppins, which is a good font, but I'm moving away from it. I'm now in a Sophia Pro phase. it's just a very elegant, nice looking font. I'm liking it. And this is going to be the header of this specific section. So maybe I'll go for a nice bold. And for the color, you know, let's see what happens if I start sampling. That doesn't look too bad if I sample that specific pink. And since I might be using some of these colors throughout this project, especially, yeah, Marissa's saying it's 3D now. Yeah, it's kind of fun. Yeah, I might be using these colors to define what everything else looks like. I'm going to definitely make sure to, this is driving me insane. I'm going to hide this. I'm going to go to my assets panel and just start adding some of these colors. So this is going to add the gradient in there. I can choose this, I can add that, and all of a sudden I've got, you know, all my assets in here. Header text.
Yeah, I like it. What? And have you? I don't know if you've dialed in the font yet or not. I mean, because the font looks good.
Right. I can also add the color, the character style. That's a good call, Paul. All right, so we've got our header, and I may tweak that color at some point in the future, but you know, we're gonna run with it. Now, next, I may need some text below it to further describe what this specific page is. So I'm gonna, so before I basically just clicked to start typing out text, and that gave me a point text. And this time, I just want to click and drag. And I can just description. Now, this is obviously probably not going to work for this particular section. We might want it smaller. We might want a different text size. So let's try this dark purple just to keep the color scheme going. And maybe we'll drop the text. Probably don't want it bold, so maybe medium. That looks okay. And, you know, a big question, and this may come as we start filling in this text, is do we center it or do we left justify it? These are questions that you may not know right away, but, you know, we'll see what happens.
I like it. I think it's looking great. I think it's balanced, Paul. Like, with the illustration.
Yeah. Now, since I don't know exactly what this screen is going to say, I would love the chat to kind of help me out with this. I'm going to, I know some people hate it, but I'm going to, for now, I don't have, oh, that's right, because I reinstalled XD this morning. So I don't have my plugins, right. So I'm going to hop into plugins, and Lorem, is that how to spell it? Lorem Ipsum. Simple, right? There's also Wikify. This one down here. I can install that as well so we can kind of see both of them.
Yeah.
And Wikify is interesting. So Lorem Ipsum, you probably know what this does, right? You can fill the placeholder text. Yeah, analytics, sure.
Is there any hipster Ipsum or Jackson?
There might be.
Samuel L. Ipsum yet?
Yeah, there's Cupcake Ipsum on the web somewhere. But I can fill this in. I can add a period at the end, and bam. It just kind of fills this in with some placeholder text. And of course, I can center it, left justify it, whatever looks best. There's also Wikify. So this allows you to enter a keyword. So let's say social. And it's going to fill in this section with something about, in this case, socialism. That's not what I wanted. So let's try
Oh, I see. So
social network.
Oh, okay.
Val is saying Star Wars Ipsum. There we go. So it just filled that in with a ton of different... Of course, it doesn't stop. It just keeps going on and on forever. That's a little bit insane. But yeah, if you just need very quick text that's cool. That's about a specific topic, you can just use Wikify. And of course, again, I'm going to fill this in with something actual text in a moment, but we're gonna run with this. So I'm going to move this up a little bit because I do want, at the bottom, I want a button and I want those little dots that we talked about a little bit earlier. So I'm going to grab my rectangle. Let's draw out a lovely rectangle.
Is Star Wars Ipsum really a thing?
It probably is.
I mean, I think it would, but I think you think it'd be more clever with the name than Star Wars Ipsum. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
What would you suggest?
I don't know. I'd have to think about it for a little bit. I mean, it's very straightforward, but it could be... I'll think about it.
Yeah, I'm sure Val has thought about this before.
Yeah.
And Richard's pointing out Bacon
like
Ipsum. I think it's an actual
Lando
thing.
Ipsum. Instead of Lauren Ipsum. I don't know.
There we go. Now, another big decision. And this could define... Val says there's dark side Ipsum. Ooh, of course there would be. So yeah, this could define the direction of our app again. Is what do we do with the buttons? Do we do sharp edges? Do we do slightly rounded edges? Do we do completely rounded edges? But the good thing is, if we do decide to go rounded edges, then we decide later on to do sharp edges, we can use components to make sure that it updates everywhere. Oh, there's 40 seconds until... No, there's 20 seconds until chat and win. So let me start with this button, and then we're going to dive into some chat and win, and one of you will win 100 stickers.
100? That's way too many. I'm just saying.
Okay, we'll give you 4.
You get 4.
You get 4
otherwise,
stickers.
that's just too much power.
That's true.
Too much power.
Way too much power. But yeah, we're going to jump into it.
Yeah. Super happy to have you here. We're going to dive into, just say something in chat, and that's how we'll pick a winner. Maybe whatever Ipsum you want. Maybe that's it. So let's dive into chat and win.
What is your favorite Ipsum?
There we go. And we're back.
Bob Ross Ipsum. Poppins Ipsum. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you. I think Ryan was in my masterclass the other day talking about rectangles and how I always use rectangles for everything. But that's design, right? You're waiting on a winner. Keep throwing in your favorite Ipsum. And Walpole. Oh, what do we see? We've got just Lauren Ipsum. Yeah.
It's going way too fast. Okay, we got a Gus bot working, or some sort of bot going in there. I like bacon Ipsum. That'd get you hungry. You mentioned cupcake Ipsum. Didn't know that was a thing.
That's always delicious.
I like hipster Ipsum because it's super funny to read.
Yeah, it's always good.
Congratulations to Corey Frazier. You are the winner of... There we are. Of 100 stickers, which is way too much power in your hands at this point. So many stickers. There's almost as many Ipsums are out there. So
indeed,
put them everywhere you want, 3x3. We'll get in touch with you via Behance, so watch out for that.
Indeed.
But just a way to say thank you for hanging out with us on this fine Monday. We're also going to get into portfolio reviews later, so there's that tab. Yeah, that'll be pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think it's rare that we do it on a Monday, so I think it's just really fun, and I just find it invaluable. Just honestly, you learn more reviewing portfolios than sometimes, than looking at stuff that's really good. I don't really learn that much.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it'll be good.
Yeah. Boop Ipsum. Yes.
Boop Ipsum.
Yeah. Into
it.
Yeah. So, congrats, Corey. Back to our button. So we're gonna start completely rounded, and my initial thought was to grab this color that's in the gradient up top and just apply that to the button, but it's such a small space and it's so vertically challenged, I suppose, that the gradient just seems like up here, this little blob, it looks good because it's a large area. The gradient has time to kind of go from one color to the next. So you can kind of go from one color to a drastic difference. But when you're talking about buttons, you probably don't want to do that. So in this case, I'm going to just dial some of these back. I might just brighten the lighter color a little bit. And then for this, I can sample that color and just very subtly just drop it just a little bit, just like that. And it's very subtle, and you probably want that for your buttons. You don't want to go too crazy with it. It's just a nice, soothing, subtle button.
Love it.
Thank you.
The more subtle, the better. It just looks so good.
Yeah. Yeah, drastic gradients have its place.
Yeah. Like right there when it's larger, it's pretty fun, but I don't know, it just makes it look smooth.
It does. Now for the text, we're just going to go for next. Now we probably don't want to go for a dark font because for the most part, the button itself is dark-ish. It's a brighter pink purple, but it's still on the kind of darker side visually. So I think white text will look nice, and this is a call to action, so I would say bold might look pretty good. Make sure to center it. I can center justify it. And there's two things we want to do now. I'm going to make this a little bit larger. So there's two things we want to do now, right? There we go. Perfect. First thing is we want to turn this into a component. That'll allow us to use this button very quickly throughout any of our artboards. It'll also allow us to keep them all up to date. It'll allow us to add states. A lot of cool things about buttons, right? So I'm going to select all these layers here, and there's two ways well, there's like a million ways to create a component now. You can right click, press make component. You can do it in your assets panel right over here. I got to get that fancy circle thing.
How do you do it? Do you use your shortcut key or like?
Yeah, I usually use Command or Control K, unless I'm going to immediately create a new state. Then I'll go over here to the right and just press the plus button here. Then I can just dive right in and create a state.
Yeah.
We're not going to be using hover probably till tomorrow because it's all mobile. So hover you want to stay away from in mobile. But once that's done, ooh, look, I designed this fancy little animation. That's when symbols became components. That was a while ago.
Yeah, that's cool. I will say that I typically, my intuition is to grab the object and drag it into the component area.
Oh, interesting.
I do that all the time because that's how every other panel works.
That doesn't work in XD, right?
No, it does not. Photoshop, Illustrator, like Adobe Animate. But anyways, that's me.
That's good
I'll
feedback.
get over
though.
it.
You should post that on User Voice.
I should.
But I do like that feedback though.
You got all that space over there. The thing is well, shoot, that's even how you do it with libraries.
Yeah.
The only thing is like, yeah, and it should just make it a component by default. But anyways,
yeah. I do know that the assets panel and components and things like that may get some love this year. From what I've heard, it may happen. So who knows? We'll see. So I've got my component here, and the second thing I want to do is turn on the fairly new padding option over here to the right. And this is one of my favorite new features. And I'm going to turn this on, and it's going to enable what we call content-aware layout. And on a very basic level, and this is the thing I love most of it, you can do a lot of cool things. But if I just want to change this, so what it did when I turned that on, before I dive into what it does, is it took a look at the relationship between the uppermost layers and the background layer, which is the layer at the very back, and it automatically set padding. So it noticed that, I have specific padding around the sides of that button, and it's going to do its best to maintain that as this object is changed. So if I dive in here and let's say type out skip tutorial, you're noticing, if I can spell correctly, that button is automatically resizing as I'm changing
Skip. That should be your name. That should be your online name. Skip.
Skip.
What's your name? Skip tutorial. No,
I like it. It's like a superhero. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. So yeah, now I've got a component, and I also have padding going on, which is fun. And padding will be receiving some love this year. I know, I don't know if I can confirm. Has it been confirmed? I believe one of the PMs did confirm that like a stacking like feature is in the works.
I don't even know what that means.
So basically, let me create an artboard just to kind of demonstrate it. So if I have, let's say, a background layer here, and I've got some elements in here, 1, 2, 3. Let me change this. Whoop, whoop. And I'm going to grab all these, put them into a group, turn on padding, right? Again, XD is noticing that there's relationship here, so if I move this around, that will move with it, right? But what if I wanted this particular layer, which let's say is red, to go on top of this layer, the middle one? Right now, I have to kind of do this, I have to move this down, make sure all the padding is aligned. Stacking will just allow me to grab this, move it on top, and everything will just kind of rearrange itself, amongst many other things. I don't want to get too much into it, but I believe one of the PMs did confirm that is in the works. If not, I'm sorry. Just spilled the beans. But I'm pretty sure they did confirm that. So we've got our button. Now on top of this, we want to work on those little dots that we were talking about earlier. So I'm going to grab my lovely ellipse tool. Actually, yes. Okay, to start, I am going to grab my ellipse tool and draw out a dot right here. Now for these ones, we don't want to go, at least for the inactive ones, we don't want to go too bright. So I'm going to just maybe dial this back, go for a lighter pink. We don't want to go too light because then it's very difficult to see, especially for those with accessibility issues. But I'm going to draw, right about there. That should be okay. And we may want a few additional ones. So I'm going to just Command or Control R to create a repeat grid. You can also do that up here. Boop. And draw out, how many, maybe 3? 3 might be okay. I don't think we need more than 3. and just make sure this is centered in the middle of the document. Those smart guides are letting me know that it's nice and centered. Beautiful. All right, so that's kind of how things are looking. You know, it's looking okay. I can probably work on the padding, make sure there's not too much room up here, but for the most part, I'm kind of happy with the way things are looking. But we do need our active dot, whatever you want to call it, dot, indicator, whatever it might be. Inactive. Paul's getting nice and cozy up in here. And for the active one, I can grab one of these dots and just paste it. Copy, paste, and this one could be nice and bright. There we go. This I'm gonna call, oh, you know what? This one, I'm catching myself. This one I do not want to be an ellipse, because this is gonna be the one that's going to expand as we swipe or click next to the next screen. So, deleting that. And I do want a nice rectangle. And this will allow me to round out the corners, so it basically looks like a circle. But the advantage of using a rectangle over an ellipse in this case is that I can go ahead and stretch this out to have something look like this, which is fun. Now, like I kind of showed at the very beginning, I also want to mask this specific, which I'm going to call active. I want to mask this inside of a mask that's basically the same shape at the very beginning. So I'm going to duplicate it, Command-Control-D, select both of those layers inside of the Layers panel, and then under the Object menu, just go Mask with Shape. Active dot, just like that. All right, so nothing really looks different at this point in time. But once we start using Auto Animate, then we can start to get a little bit fun with it. And how's this looking, Paul?
I think it looks great.
Looks kind of fun. Looks fancy.
Yeah. Trying to see if there's any like tweaks. So are you trying to? Because like, should there be any more room? Like, cause you have space down there, but I don't, like, you don't have to use up all that space. I mean,
right.
I like it.
Yeah.
Like, I think, you know. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm into it.
It's not bad. And,
I was just,
and
all
again,
I was
you gotta
doing is like holding this in my hand and seeing where my thumb lands and like just seeing how you'd navigate.
And what's nice is that if you have a USB cable, you can plug it into your phone. You can preview this in real time, or if you're using Creative Cloud or a cloud document, you can also preview it. Not in real time, but every time you save it, you can just refresh it, and you'll be able to preview exactly what this looks like on your phone. Yeah. So yeah, you're totally right. I could, add a little bit more space down at the bottom here.
I don't know if it's needed because I was thinking, do you? But then it's like, the next button's really clickable. So that's what I'm into.
Yeah. So now, just to kind of make this a little bit more real, what do we say? I don't know if we got any suggestions in here.
For what?
Just the copy about the share section of this application. Whether it's politics, please don't share politics, but or
maybe you're fun with it. Cute cat pics only. No.
No.
Or yeah.
We need a name for this application too.
We do.
Yeah. Hey, Kate, welcome. Thank you for joining me, and us, and Paul as well. Whether it's politics or cute cat pics, I don't know what the name of this application is. Social app is the best place to share it with your friends. Social app is a terrible name, but maybe one of all of you fancy, very creative people will come up with a better app name for this. But we're gonna drop it here for now. Okay, so let's move on to some more fun stuff. I want to kind of touch on what we did earlier with the lovely dots that kind of floated around. So we're going to work on importing some additional assets at the top, and we're going to also work on changing this up. I'm still deciding how we're going to do that, whether it's going to be a fade or things are going to move. We'll see, but we can always make changes later. Duplicate, and now we can make those lovely changes that we did earlier, right? So I'm going to grab this little guy, if I can remember how we did it again. And this was just like this, right? And then...
That was the mask.
And the mask.
I mean, I do remember doing it earlier.
Oh, you know what it was? I had to go on this one, grab the mask, make this a little bit larger to start. I think that's what it was. Possibly. We'll see. I don't remember what I did, but we're gonna find out. So now that these two artboards are kind of in in their, hopefully, solid places. I'm going to go to prototype mode at the top. Do we have any polecat, chatter duck? Interesting, Kate. Val. Kate's right above. Interesting. Chatter duck. Okay, we can run with that.
I can keep the tabs.
Yeah. So there's chatter duck. There is
Meat.
polecat the meat. And okay.
What's the rumpus?
Gather's interesting.
Polecat. So I don't know if you want to answer the question about what's the purpose of the app.
Oh, I have no idea. We're just running with it. So the very basic purpose is just to share, very similar to Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, just share all the things you do on a daily basis, whether it's a text post, whether it's, what else do you do? Photos of your food, whatever it might be. Steve says Scuttlebutt. It's a great name. Probably not for a social app, but I love that name.
Oh, I love Gather.
Yeah, Gather's good. Maybe you can game on this app. You can live stream. Who knows? Mm-hmm. So it's a multi-purpose.
Gather. I like multi-share was another word I wrote down.
Yeah. So when we're at the prototyping phase, there's a few ways we can navigate to the next artboard. We do want to introduce drag, probably in a few moments. But for now, we just want to be able to click on next. So I'm going to grab the button. I'm going to drag the blue handle to this artboard. And then it's already set the destination, which I should probably do a better job at naming these things. I'll get to that in a second. Ease in and out. Duration 0.8 seconds is probably fine. You want to make sure that auto animate is selected, because that will allow you to, it'll basically allow XD to look at the differences between those two. I'm losing my voice already. You've streamed for like 4 hours. I don't know how you have a voice.
Just chilling.
Kate likes Gather too. Yeah. Okay. Oh, you can make it hip and cool by taking out the vowels. There you go. Yeah. So auto animate will look at the differences between the wired up artboards and animate those changes. So if all goes well, if I did this correctly, when I click on next, woo! Did you see it? Let me zoom in.
Yeah, let's get in on that.
Fancy. And that's all done just using a mask and an elongated shape, which is fun.
That is great.
Yeah. So now we can take it to another step. We can start introducing drag into this. So maybe, someone might want to grab this element up here and just kind of drag it off to the side, kind of like this, and another image will come in. So for that, we need another image. So maybe the next one, we've got some really cool stuff in here. All from Adobe stock. I don't know which artist this was, but he or she makes really nice stuff. Maybe this one. This looks kind of fun. It's like photos. Drag this into XD. Compiler. Boop, the social app for Adobe. Marissa, thank you.
Together might be a word. Together.
Oh, together. Interesting. Got some good stuff coming in here. All right. So, one thing to note about auto animate is that the elements need to be present on both artboards. So if I were to simply delete this and add this new image in here, it looks great. However, it's going to throw XD off, because if I do this and press next, it's basically going to fade between them, which maybe that's what you want. But in this case, we want to be able to drag to the next one or have the images kind of move at a different pace or something like that. So what I'm going to do is on this first artboard, I'm going to paste it here. I'm going to make sure it's approximately the same size. Still losing my voice. And I'm going to move this one off to the side. Now you're going to notice something. It's going to pop it onto the paste board. And the reason it did that is because it's not associated with anything on that initial artboard. So what I want to make sure to do is actually go ahead and place this into a group with that image in the background, which is this one here, group 1 and group 72. So I'm going to group these, and I'm going to name this images. Very creative, right? And this will be the photo image, photos, and this will be the social images. And now if I move this out of the way, it's going to stay on this artboard because it's now in a group with another element that is currently on the artboard, which is very important. So, and it's nicely out of the way so you can't see it. Now, what did we decide on? Together?
Well, I also really like, we got I like Together a lot. There's Commune, there's Community, which again is kind of generic. I just did a shout out to Richard, Who said the Goss app? I like Goss
Ooh,
app.
the Goss app.
That's kind of fun.
That's a good one. Yeah. We'll have to make sure at some point when I do get ready to release this, which I won't be able to release it with these images at the top. They'll have to be generic ones. But I have to make sure that we don't run into copyright issues, which is definitely a thing when you're designing a UI kit or an application or whatever it might be. Every name is taken under the sun, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
including under the sun is actually
it's
taken.
probably taken. So for now, we'll just do. I like to gather.
I love the
Goss app is good too.
Goss app and then GATA, sort of like taking out.
Oh yeah.
Doing something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know if that reads. This reads a little.
Yeah.
Something.
Yep.
One to many. I don't know.
There are some interesting ones.
I love the. I like the idea of because people have been saying boops and baps.
Yeah.
And I think it'd be fun to put that language in there and make it kind of playful. It's like so whether it's some beeps or boops or some so like all that. What's another name? What's a fun name for a cat?
Oh gosh.
What do you call a cat? Like I'm thinking of all those Reddit terms of your squishy, whether it's your squishy or the blah blah blah, like or your bip to bop, like just all that random stuff. Because all it is just random stuff. I think that'd be fun to add that language.
Yeah, totally.
I'll shut up now.
And no, I like that. And we can totally get creative with this at some point.
Moonair's thinking, okay, we need to think outside the box.
Is that like what's it? Skynet, like Boop Sky.
Boop Sky.
Yeah, BoopNet.
I like thinking outside the box like that because it's probably not copyrighted.
That's true. Let's go with gather without the vowels.
Into it.
And maybe just to really emphasize this, we'll go for black. Black might be too much. Maybe bold.
It does stand out just being all caps.
There we go. That's true. It does. Yeah. All right. We'll run with this. So we've got that on there. Now we want to make sure, now that we've added and changed this group at the top, we want to make sure it's also present on the next artboard. Because if we simply did this thing, you see that little blip? If you're looking closely at the image up here, there's a little blip. That's because there's some misalignment between the two artboards. So I'm simply going to just copy this and just paste it. Now, of course, we want to make sure that this is on this side. So we've got this nice and centered, just about there. And one thing we can do, if we take a look at this, just kind of, whoop, it's okay, it's not bad. Let me play that one more time. Whoop, it's fine, right? If we wanted to really mess with the way that image kind of comes in and leaves, what we can do is just grab this image here and just kind of move it even further away. And that will allow it to kind of fly out a little bit faster. Maybe that was kind of too far away. Just move it in. And then it just kind of moves out a little bit faster, and that one kind of nicely comes into play.
Could you morph that background blob?
I could.
And just not a lot, but just like a little.
Just a very subtle morph.
It does a little something, something.
And maybe down. Whoops. And maybe. Oh, you know what? I did the wrong one.
And then what would happen if you changed the color? It would just do a crossfade, wouldn't it?
It would actually just snap. Which
we don't want that.
We don't want that. Of
but
course,
changing the shape, just like this little.
Yeah, you can do that. Nice. And one workaround to change the color is if you have two shapes on top of each other that are different, of the same shape, and then one's 0% opacity and one's 100%. Then it'll kind of do that crossfade. Another thing you can do is if I go on this artboard, I can actually work on these, move these individual layers. So I can move this little guy under the ladder.
Wait, with that.
I can move this. Maybe I can grab this guy's.
If this works, I'm gonna be blown away.
Oh, it's gonna work, Paul. I can grab this guy's little handle.
Name the app "Blown Away" because that's what it's doing to me.
Right, I can do this. Move this little handle.
She falls off the ladder. I don't know. Maybe she's down. Put her at the bottom of the ladder, and then would you?
Oh, maybe. I can kind of condense these, and they'll fly out.
Ew, it's gonna be so much fun.
Right. See, these little things. I can also grab these, maybe the leaves, and kind of fan them a little bit.
Oh.
Just a touch.
Oh, this is fun, though.
I know, isn't this fun?
Fun to do.
This is super fun. I can move this one like this, and then here we go. Let me move this out of the way. Woo! It's so subtle. Let me slow this down.
You almost need to make it a little bit more drastic.
That's true. because it's also coming in from the...
And it's easing, so it's kind of slowing down toward the end.
Yeah, let me slow this down to 3 seconds, just so we can really see what's happening. And let me zoom in a little bit. Here we go. You see that little subtle animation?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I can agree with you that we need to make it more drastic. I can just spend hours just tweaking these little things.
Well, and it's inspiring because again, it's empowering because it's so easy.
Yeah.
You know, to be honest with you.
Move her all the way over here. These little things. I think these are.
I think, like you said, so you don't want to change the color, right? Because then it'll pop.
Right.
And you don't want to, like, really, as long as the name is the same thing.
Yep.
In here, you know, I don't know.
Yeah. So let's see.
I'm just trying to think of anything you need to look out for.
Ooh. Now, one thing that's kind of cool is once we start adding drag into this, we can control that animation. So if I go to prototype mode, let me zoom back out a little bit, and grab this layer here. This is the group with the images in it. And I drag this handle to the second artboard. I can now set up a drag trigger, which will allow me to control when the elements kind of come in. Joshua was saying, could you rotate the blob too? Sure, could definitely rotate the blob a little bit. But let me go ahead and do this. And now what I can do is I can move this over at my own pace. Now you can really see some of those elements move in and out. Look at that.
Yeah, it looks really good.
Isn't that fancy? It's such a subtle thing. And this guy, it's a bad time. He's under the ladder right now. Monir, I grabbed these illustrations from Adobe Stock, so you can definitely find them there.
So, question.
Yes.
If you put him on top of the ladder, do you have to make sure he's on top of the ladder in both artboards?
Yes. Otherwise, at the end of the animation, that layer is going to basically snap.
Okay.
At least at the moment.
So it wouldn't break it, but
no.
You might notice some. Okay, good.
Yeah, he'll still move because he's named the same, but the Z order will kind of just snap into place. Jesse, don't walk under the ladder. Yeah, he probably should not walk under there.
This is good stuff.
Yeah, so this could be shoot maybe. And what do we put for like photography, things like that?
Whether it's your I don't know. I'm not a copywriter.
I'm not either. This is why I'm a designer.
Help us, chat.
Back in the day, I was a copywriter when I was in marketing, but yeah.
Whether it's your squishy, because whatever's your squishy, I don't know. All those cute names for the things you take photos of. What's in your camera roll right now, people? And tell us what. Well.
Yeah, mine's all my daughter and dogs, and I just got the new Galaxy Ultra thing, so I've been testing that. I was taking pictures of your place up there.
Oh, nice.
So, don't mind me.
Oh man, that's Samsung Galaxy. Probably, yeah.
I don't know. I have mixed feelings about it. It's okay.
Oh, okay.
Cats, dogs, and everything in between.
I do copy-wronging, not copywriting. I mess it up.
Snap your favor.
30 minutes before portfolio reviews. Get those sent through the portfolio review tab by the time I'm done drinking this water.
Mm-hmm. So let's see what this looks like. So now if we drag it over, you're noticing that we've got a little fade going on. So we've got the animation at the top of all those little things, little people kind of coming into play. We've got the fade of the text, which is probably what we want. Of course, we can get creative with masks and things like that. But, you know, it's going to happen so quickly that a fade's probably fine. And of course, you've got the little blob at the bottom, that little dot kind of moving around. And of course, you can press next to kind of just have everything happen at once. That's probably too slow, so let's make that a little bit faster. And we've got, whoop, there we go. And you can kind of really start to see that animation come into play. Fancy. All right. We've got an hour left. Okay, so let's go ahead and, well, we might come back to this later on, but we want to kind of get a start on the actual feed, the actual application, after the onboarding is done. We haven't even touched that.
There's an app.
I know. I figured I'd get through this.
I just want to play with a fun animation the whole time.
We go back to our little list.
I want to think of names.
I've gotten like half of one of the points finished. That's funny. So onboarding. 1, onboarding 2. Very creative. All right, so next artboard we're going to tackle is the actual home feed of this application. So let's go ahead and create one more. Oops, that's the wrong artboard.
Doggos and donuts.
Doggos and who said
That's
that?
fun.
I like that. Doggos
Jack
and
Watson.
Jack. I should have known by the donuts. Jack is big into donuts. Jack was on Adobe Live with me, and she
nice.
designed this really cool donut application
Oh.
about like ordering donuts through your phone, like dragging donuts. I think you can select, you fill up like a virtual box, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Jack can confirm this. There was a company out there who saw the stream and is working with Jack to bring an application like that to life.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that cool?
That sounds
I think
really
that's super
awesome.
cool.
Yeah, that sounds great. I wonder who it is.
Yeah.
You got a favorite donut place, Howard?
I don't. You know, Dunkin' Donuts is fine. Not sponsored, but you know.
We have a Voodoo Donut here
Ooh,
in Denver.
interesting. I should check that out while I'm here.
But you will also have to, like, I don't know. It's just not good. It's too much sugar.
Oh, okay.
You
Once in
can
a
have
while,
diabetes.
it's fine.
It's
Voodoo
just
Val
like-
should come to Voodoo Donuts.
I want to go to Voodoo Donuts with Voodoo Val.
That sounds like a match
I want
made
her
in
to
heaven.
get the purple. There's a purple donut that she can order.
Oh my
She
gosh.
likes purple.
Yeah,
It's not named after a Star Wars character, but man, her brain would explode.
I think so. All right, so home feed. There's a few things on the home feed that we want to tackle. Hopefully, we can do this in an hour. Here's the home feed here. So we might want, of course, it's all about the posts. We got text posts and social photos and that sort of thing. Stories could be fun. I don't know what your opinion is of stories. I kind of like stories.
I like stories, man. If I could get those posted to multiple, I'm all
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah, I know Twitter recently announced that they are testing stories. They're called fleets or something. It's a strange name. They're testing stories in Brazil.
Who's doing this?
Twitter.
Twitter.
I'm a big fan of this. I know a lot of people were trending like RIP Twitter because they don't want stories on Twitter. I like this because the majority of my Twitter feed is all design. But once in a while, I'll want to post something that I don't necessarily want to live on forever. I just want like to vent or just post something completely unrelated to design and just, go away in 24 hours. So I'm kind of digging it, but we'll see. I could change. So we want some action icons under the post. Maybe we'll get to the exploding heart that I showed off not too long ago. And of course, posts. So here we go. Starting off blocking things out like we usually do. I'm going to start with like a header section at the top. Again, making sure to remember that there is that notch at the top of the display. So you want to leave a little bit of room up there. And I'm just going to start very simple, just a gray shape up here. Maybe we might want a navigation bar at the bottom. Again, there is that home indicator down there. Kate's here for fleets. Yes, I'm interested to see if that rolls out, further than Brazil. So we've got our header, we've got our navigation bar. I'm going to name nav and header. And then, we might want a logo. We haven't thought about a logo yet.
Logos are fun.
Logos are fun. And a few other things up here. We might want maybe a profile picture. And you know what? I need my guides. So I'm going to go on this artboard here. Under the view menu, I can go and actually copy the guides from this artboard and paste them on this one. Boop. There we go. Now I have guides. So I'm going to maybe add a little profile picture. That'll be me. And then over to the right, we may want, there's a few things you can put. I think on Twitter, there's the filters, so you can filter by top tweets or recent tweets. I think maybe over to the right, we might want a toggle to switch between light mode and dark mode. Mm-hmm. That could be fun.
Yeah.
Of course, there's a lot of things you can do, but I'm going to open up Nucleo, which is the icon manager that I use. You can also use a plugin to find icons. I'm going to search for sun. We're going to start with dark mode. I'm a big fan of dark mode, and I know this is going to drive a lot of comments about XD and dark mode and not dark, I do it to myself. You like dark mode?
Oh, yeah. Dark mode.
Who doesn't like dark mode?
Yeah.
And yes, the XD team does like dark mode, at least most of them. But
you know who
priorities,
doesn't is Talon. I think he likes light mode. And I'm like, who are you? It's like, I don't even know you anymore. It's like the GIF or GIF.
That's
like,
true.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, Talon. He might be watching. He might be. And it's not that we're like against dark mode, because again, many of us like it. Just got to prioritize priorities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it might be based on your, I don't know.
Yeah.
Your environment.
Totally. So maybe for the logo, let's actually grab a plugin. I think there's an icons plugin that I use quite often.
My job as a designer has been reduced to a plugin. Oh no.
Hey, if it helps you quickly grab, like it's like a fire icon, then
Yeah.
you know what? I'm going to do it.
Fire. Make it. It's
This
lit.
is our logo
Let's
right
call
now.
it It's Lit.
There you go. It's lit. Make sure everything lines up really nicely. Maybe for this, we might want to introduce a little bit of a gradient. So I'm going to choose a linear gradient and maybe just a nice light orange at the top and maybe a little bit of a red with a little bit of orange. Very subtle, kind of like we were talking about earlier with the buttons. Someone make a dark mode plugin. Yeah.
There is dark mode. Just go to your monitor and then just hit turn down brightness. There's your dark mode.
There you go. If only it was that simple. So, because we are going dark mode for this, I'm going to select the artboard and dial this back. There we go. And for the header at the top, it'll probably be just a little bit lighter. I might want a little bit of a border, very subtle border, just to separate this from the feed. Just like that. Very subtle. Doesn't have to be too crazy. Put on the outside, and now we have all the elements that's going to make up our header at the top. Whoops.
Ooh.
I hit it instead of grouped it.
That was scary.
That was scary. I thought the whole thing. I haven't even saved it yet.
Yeah.
I should. That's probably my cue to save. What was this thing called? Gather.
Tinder. Just kidding. Just joking.
There we go. Beautiful. All right.
Could be Spark. Could be called Rant. I want to make an app called Rant, where you just rant and rave. But
Isn't that Twitter?
The message just doesn't go anywhere. Like it literally is a social media platform that doesn't exist.
You know,
just like, I need to get this off my chest. I'm really mad about it. I don't really want to send it to anybody.
Yeah, there are so many times where I've been considering creating a second Twitter account that has nothing to do with me, doesn't have my name or anything, just so I can rant.
I feel that too, and I actually think that I think you're onto something there.
I know a lot of celebrities do that. They're not on Twitter, but they're on Twitter under like a complete pseudonym or whatever it's called.
They're not on Tinder either, but they're on Tinder.
Yeah. All right, so
we've
got our header.
They're not on Instagram, but really they're on Instagram.
Of course. Now, I may want to use the same style as that I used in the header for the navigation. So what I'm going to do is I have that layer selected over here to the left. I'm going to copy, go down to my navigation bar, and then I can use, I think is it that? No? Yeah. So it's Command Option V or Control Alt V, or you can right click and then paste appearance. There we go. Now we have a cool navigation bar at the bottom. We've got our header at the top. And now we can start filling in everything in between. Of course, we'll probably need some icons down here at the bottom as well. But we may want some stories. Who doesn't love good stories? You know, I'm a fan of how Instagram presents their stories. They've got little profile pictures at the top, and they've got the people on the side. So I'm going to grab my rectangle or my circle, my ellipse, draw out the first person. This is going to be the user story who's using this application. So it's going to be a little bit different than the other ones. So I'm going to purposely not include this one in the repeat grid. We'll get back to this in a moment. But I want to drag one more out this way. And this one is going to be part of the repeat grid. So all together, boop. There we go. Now I can just drag out. Space them out. I'm going to purposely leave one of them kind of floating off the artboard. That way it kind of gives the user the impression, or it lets them know that they can swipe across. You mean how Instagram stole stories from Snapchat? They did. I like them, but you know, they stole them, but that's fine. And this is going to be stories. And now what I can do is I can, you know what, I'm going to backtrack. I'm going to design this out first.
Okay.
And then, so what I want to do is, let me just drag in an image so we can kind of get an understanding of how things are going to look. I want two things on this. I want a border on the inside of this shape. And then I want another shape behind it that is going to let the user know whether someone has added to their story or there's an unseen story, right? So in that case, I'm going to duplicate. I'm going to make this one a touch. I'm going to make the one in the background a touch bigger. Just like this. And this is where the gradient or the shape is, or the border is going to come into play. And I might want to just, wait, you know what I could do? Hop to my assets and use this. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Let's add a border.
Yeah, I mean, I think it needs it. I think the icon at the top being gold should maybe... I think that color might be clashing compared to the rest of the design.
Yeah, and I think...
Like, the flame's okay. Like, you could just make it, like, purple to I would make it purple to, like, an orange.
Yeah. Is
but
that Howard with a beard?
I like that.
Let's see what that looks like if I do orange down at the bottom. Oh, look at you. I'm kind of digging that. What do you think? Yeah? Works. All right. So now I can also use this shape in the background to pop back here. Now on Instagram, at least, when you post a story, the color is different than when a friend posts a story. So in this case, we might want to just change this to, let's go for like a blue, something like this. And then I'll use the same border. And I think this one's 3. Whoops, not 3. There we go. Beautiful. All right, I'm gonna also drag the same image in as the one at the top. Fancy. All right, so we've got basically the template for our story set up, and now what we can do is grab these elements here and turn this into a repeat grid and drag a few more out. Again, leaving a little bit of space on the side so people know that they can swipe through these. Let's make sure there's no questions. Someone said Howard with a beard. Yes, that is absolutely me. I cannot grow much of a beard. This is it. So now that we have the stories kind of all the people in there, we need some additional people. We have the spots. So I'm going to grab what we could do. We can do 1, 2, we can grab 3, 4, just grab these and drag them directly in. And if we did want to override any, we can just drag some additional images directly in, just like this. We could just boop. But that looks pretty good right there. Now, one other thing you might notice if you are on Face or on Instagram, that's what we're doing, right? We're using Instagram.
Yeah, and I was kind of I wasn't ignoring you. I was just kind of looking at Instagram. And how
so what you might notice if you actually on Lee's post right there, you've already looked at her story.
I have.
So the border is different. Now here's a trick, right? Because this is a repeat grid. If I were to go into this cell here and change the color of this border or the shape, you're going to notice what's happening is they're all changing, and that's by design. That's what a repeat grid does. It allows you to change one object in one cell, and it's going to automatically push those changes to all the other cells. But what if you did not want that, right? This is what you can do. What you do in any of the cells is you grab the element that you might want to be able to override at some point in the future, and you turn that specific object into a component. So again, Command and Control K, or you can do it over here to the right, whatever it might be. And now what you're able to do is you're able to override it. You can also create states. So if I wanted to create a new state, this could be the inactive, or maybe it'll be read or viewed, possibly. And I'm going to change this to, let's say, a solid color and just very subtle, right? And now I can go back to the default state. And now if I go in here, whoops, what I can do, oh no, states won't work in that situation. But I can go ahead and override this, even though it's still in a repeat grid. So in that case,
so it's an override. Hers. That is new. The override is fairly new?
Once components came around. Yeah, be able to do that.
Because this is really like one execution.
Yeah.
There's different ways to do this. Because there's even the way of just like making that person's profile photo like semi-transparent or something.
Right.
Or grayed out or whatever else. I never really kind of noticed that there was a border that meant that they had content till now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Because I don't watch many stories. I'm like, everybody has the circle.
I like the stories a lot of times more than the posts. I don't know why.
Yeah. I'm amazed that some people just how much time they put into those stories.
Oh no.
But here's the goal with some of that. It's like, yeah, spend time on a whole like story, as in multiple stories posts, and then roll that into a featured on your profile.
Yeah.
Which is, I'm telling that to myself. That's what I needed. Yeah.
Yeah. The reason.
By the way, sorry. Yeah. OMG is a great name for an app. OMG.
Ooh, OMG.
Like you want to tell somebody about something. OMG.
I like it. Your story. Yeah, the reason I like stories is because I don't have to spend time. I can just take a picture of something and just upload it, or just take a very quick video, upload it, and don't have to worry about it.
There's a great job about so Jack Waston wants to know like how many stories they've uploaded, whether it's static video and stuff. Like I was thinking like it would be nice if this circle right here on the outside, if there were 5 story posts that they have, and it's divided up.
Ooh.
Line. So the more lines, the more like photos or posts that they've had to their stories.
Interesting. So you could do something like this. You can turn a border on. Paul's dying over here. You can do something like this, right? And then you can change the dash. That's the word.
Dash.
So based on how many stories they have. So in this case, it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right?
Can you make the gap thinner?
Like the size of it, like this?
I like the space in between there.
Yep, you can do that.
I'd just do like 2. Well, but that's cool. Yeah, well, you can do whatever.
Something like that.
What am I telling you? I don't know.
That's a fun idea, though. I like that. I'm gonna go back to what it was before.
Yeah.
But I like that idea. All right, so we've got stories. Oh, we didn't even add text. We have no text. Your story. We need names. Otherwise, who knows who these people are? It could be anybody. Make sure to censor.
Because they're not really their profile picture.
Of course not. No.
You need their real name.
Now, the cool thing about using repeat grids is if I did figure out, we need some text on these things, I can go into the repeat grid, paste this, and you're noticing you can't see it right now, but if I just dive into the grid, I can bring this down, and now I can see the text. And this could be, I don't know, Brad. Let's grab some names from, this will be Jack. Who else do we have in here? We need a female. Yeah. Kara. Oh. And another female in there. I know there's more. I just can't see them in the chat. Well, we'll just say Marissa for now.
You got Kara. There's a Lindsay.
Oh, Lindsay.
Christina with a C.
Lindsay. I did not spell that right. Lindsay. There we go. Beautiful. All right. So now we got some text in there. This is 5. It's probably not. What is it? 3, 4, 5. Bam.
Val.
Oh yeah, Val's in
Val's upset. Was she in there?
Val's in. There's Val. Oh no. Okay, fine.
She's ticked.
You know what? Just for Val, I will drag out another one. I'll drag out another one and put Val all the way out here.
Okay. Val, you have a beard now.
Yep. That's Val. We're running with it. All right. So we've got our stories at the top. Things are looking pretty good. I'll space it. I don't know about how I feel about the spacing. I think it's fine for now. We're wasting too much time. All right, so we got the stories.
Tight.
We might want a little bit of separation between the stories and the posts that are going to go underneath. So I'm going to just grab a line and just line this up, maybe within my guides. Drag this across. I can sample this lovely color that we've got right up here. Boop. And there we go. Now we have a little separation. Aha, there we go. And those smart guides and the padding just let me know that this is spaced evenly from the elements at the top. All right, so now down below, of course, we need some posts. We need text posts, we need photo posts, and that sort of thing. And this is where you can start using 2 repeat grids. So of course you can't use 1 repeat grid for text and photo posts because they're different types. So we're gonna start with text posts, and I'll drag out, let's say, we can keep them the same size. This will be the profile photo. And then over to the right, we might want the display name and the username and maybe when they posted that information. So this will be Brad Beardman. I always use Brad Beardman for this lovely guy at the top. And then we could put Beardman, just like that. Left justify it. And then maybe 1 minute ago. Now, we do want to create a little bit of separation between the display name, the username, and the time is posted. So maybe just for this stuff over here, I'm just going to hop into the fill and drop the color a little bit, and also maybe drop the weight to regular. There we go. All right, now we need some text. So I'll drag out.
This is for his like one of his posts?
Yeah, this is just a text post.
Okay.
So this just picked up some new conditioner for the beard. Because that's...
It's like, we get it, Brad. You can grow a beard. We get it.
Exactly. Regular.
Hey, how about develop... Nah, I'm about to get really mean on this guy that doesn't even exist.
Go ahead and say it.
No, I can't.
Oh.
A beard is not a personality. That's what I was gonna say. How about having a personality instead of just a beard, huh?
There you go. Paul's got a...
All right, I'm done. I'm just bitter like you because I cannot grow a beard as
There you
well.
go.
So it's come from a place of insecurity, and I'm sorry, everyone.
So, one more thing we might want to add in there. Of course, we need a photo of good old Brad. We need some icons. So we need like a comment icon, a heart icon, maybe a bookmark icon. What else do we need? A share icon, possibly. So I'm going to go back. Let me actually turn off the border. I'm going to go back. How are we doing on time? Oh, we got...
yeah, less than
oh boy,
8 minutes before portfolio reviews.
Oh boy, okay. So I'm going to look for a comment icon. Maybe it's called message, possibly. There's just so many icons. It's crazy how many icons there exists.
Boom.
24 looks a bit big. Don't you think?
Yeah, it does.
Maybe 20. I don't want to go too small because then it's hard to see and click on. That could do. Although I do want to bump this up a little bit so you can see it. What does it look like on Twitter? They're gray, right? Yeah, they are a bit gray. Okay. Bump this down to about 1.5. That looks pretty good. And now we might want a heart icon. That should be pretty. You know what? We can create our own heart.
Oh, yeah.
Did you know that? I'll drag one in, but I recently introduced Easter egg in XD. If you grab the polygon tool, you draw one out, and then in here, in this little section here, you do a little heart. Bam!
That's adorable.
Isn't that cool? We introduced that on Valentine's Day.
That's adorable.
Yeah.
Love it.
I'll just run with that. Same border color. Fancy. Maybe 1.5. There we go. Is this the same size? No, it's not. Now it is. And then we might want a share icon. And which one? That looks pretty good. That is border based, 1.5. And I'm going to just make sure it's the same size, 20 pixels. Beautiful. All right, and of course I could add this color to my assets panel so it's a little bit easier, but we are zipping through this. Someone's asking, can we have our own icon library included in XD? So you can definitely create your own as like a linked document and save it up to the cloud and then load that file into any of your projects that you're working on. We do have some icon sets on the Adobe XD website. The tricky thing with icons is that they're expensive. So acquiring a set to distribute to everybody is probably incredibly expensive, and it might not be exactly what you want, right? So definitely download some of the icons that we do have available on the Adobe XD website and run with those. And maybe in the future we might have additional libraries.
And use honestly, I'll use Adobe stock. I probably bought an asset a long time ago, and it's 100 icons. It has all the basic ones. Might be another option for it.
Let's add one more in there.
I think it's funny. Sometimes I'll look for an icon, and then when I find it, and then I put it in there, I'm like, this is so simple. Why didn't I just make it?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you ever do, like, it kind of with a heart.
Yeah.
By the time we brought it in, I'm like, I could have just made this.
Yeah. Yeah, you can never have enough icons, indeed. There we go. All right, so we've got some little icons. They still look a little bit big, but we're gonna run with it. We're gonna see what happens.
And they're kind of spaced out.
Yeah, they are, which is fine. But I think they are a little bit.
Oh yeah. So that's if you want to like it,
16.
add comments to it, bookmark it, or share it. Okay.
Yep.
Looks like on Twitter they have some have numbers next to each other.
Yeah.
But we got to save something for day 2. We're moving along here. Huh?
Oh, we have plenty to do on day 2. What do we have? 5 minutes left until what's it called? So this is basically one text post. And I'm just noticing this is a little bit too squishy. I'm going to move this over a little bit. Move the icon over and then make sure everything lines up using my lovely distribution options. Boop. There we go. All right, so this is one text post. And like we've done a million times before, repeat grid, and we can drag out an additional text post if we wanted to. I missed his name, his beautiful name. Drag this guy out. There we go. And now we can start overriding. We might want to pop her in there. What was her name? Oh yeah, Jack. This will be Jack Watson.
Jack Watson.
And J Watt. Maybe this was 5 minutes ago. Totally just picked up a massive box of donuts to consume. Because we know that's what Jack's going to do. Eat some donuts, as she does. Now, of course, below this, we might want to mix things up and add in a photo post. And photo posts look a little bit different, so we can kind of use what we've created up here and just modify it a little bit. So I'm going to dive in here, grab some of the necessary elements like these, paste them outside of the grid, make sure everything lines up. I can change the photo just for now. I'll pop in this guy. And then down below here, we might want to include that photo. So over here, I'm going to grab my rectangle, draw one out, make sure everything lines up with my guides and everything. I can just round out the corners just a touch. 12, 16 pixels, possibly. And then we can grab an image. I do have some images somewhere. I'll grab some images after. I'll leave it just like this for now. And then I'll grab these icons, 1, 2, 3, 4, copy, and pop them below the image. There we go. And now I can grab these, group, and this will be a photo post that we can kind of mix in with all the other posts.
Very cool.
Text posts. We have less than 2 minutes.
Holy moly.
Indeed. While we're doing that, we can just add some icons at the bottom for our navigation bar. This will be a home icon. Drag that in there. Maybe a search icon. Of course, many of these icons are super easy to create, but just to save a little bit of time, maybe a bell icon. Oh gosh, there's so many bell icons. And then maybe a profile of some sort. Oh, user. Ooh, we have less than a minute left.
You're good. Might have time to come back to this view before we're done for the day if you want.
Yeah. I think that'll work.
Time does fly fast. But we'll get a few things done. We'll basically be done with this app today, so like somebody said in chat, we'll just stare into the camera for 2 hours tomorrow.
We should do that. That could be fun.
I like to act like we get frozen, like the feed is freezing, and we just like different poses.
Yeah.
For 2 hours.
I'm down for that. So very quickly distribute these. Boop, boop.
Richard, thanks for hanging out with us. I see you have to go. Thanks for joining us. Hang out with us tomorrow.
Thanks, Richard. Bam.
That was pretty fast.
It's not perfect, but we'll work on those.
Well on our way.
Yeah.
And just with 8 seconds left, you're so
We're going to go to
fast.
space.
Nailing it. We're going to go to space. I hope we survive. We may or may not have helmets, but let's go ahead and take off.
Let's do it.
Into the portfolio review. Welcome back, everyone.
Hey.
Awesome. Time to dive into some portfolio reviews. It's we don't do these a lot, especially on a Monday, so this is pretty exciting to be able to do this today.
So very quickly, I want to address Shivansh, possibly. He's saying, I feel like the home icon can be lined too. What do you say? So the reason I have the home icon as a solid icon and the other ones as lined is because the home is the active screen. So it's a little bit... And probably the other ones, I'm going to drop them in opacity a little bit just to kind of tell the users that they are on the home screen. We might get a little bit fancy with it as well, but that's the reason why I did it.
Okay. Into it. Seems to make sense to me.
So
and
what do we got?
Question. All right, let's take a look at this. We're going to review two. First one up is the
Brandy.
lovely Brandy. Yay, Brandy Shepard. Yay, I saw you in chat earlier. Hopefully you're still there. She's a designer, illustrator, hand lettering artist in Cincinnati, and now she's being stalked. Just kidding. For Cincinnati insurance companies in Fairfield. I typically just kind of want to see how much experience they have.
Yeah.
Cool. This is fun. Just I guess a recent graduate.
Nice. I would say just kind of throw in some more information into that little section on the side. Mm-hmm. You've got your work experience in there, which is nice. Oh, there's a little bit about me down there. Okay, never mind. It's there. I didn't see it.
Boy, you know what? I must say, when I graduated, I talked so much trash when I first graduated. I could do everything. I was doing virtuality.
Oh, what is
that?
that?
I don't even know.
Oh, okay.
But I had that in there, something like virtuality, but it was QuickTime VR stuff. But it was stupid.
Oh, fancy.
BA graphic design, media arts. That's
nice.
Super fun. Concentration web design. Fantastic. I love the idea of doing working in house is good to start out your career that way. Just to kind of see how the industry works for a bit.
Freelance is hard. It's not impossible. Some people really do really well with freelance, but I don't know. I did it for a while. It's tough.
Yeah, I don't think I would survive.
Doggies. Dog named Jack.
Looks like this is part of the XD Data Creative Challenge.
Oh, fun. Pet adoption. Did I do that one? I don't remember. I've done so many of those things. I don't remember what I've done. It's possible.
Adorable. I love that name.
Forever Finder. Well done.
If you made that up, yes, well played.
Well done, Jack.
Okay.
I love the massive full width image. I think that looks really nice. I would say right off the bat, initial impressions, the text at the bottom is a little bit small. We have these little tiny, even though some of the screens are pretty large these days, it's still a little bit, the screens are still small on the smaller side. So bump that, I don't know what that looks like, maybe 12 pixels, something like that. Bump it up, go 16, whatever it might be. It may seem large, but if someone's really interested in viewing more information, they will definitely scroll down if they do want to see more. So yeah, don't be afraid to use larger text. Smaller, it's a little bit, especially when you compare it with the icons up top, those little heart and the comment icons.
Oh, okay. That's a good point. I was trying to compare it to the keyboard, that size versus this size, but even this is even more drastic.
Yeah.
And honestly, I would say, make these icons, you can make those a little more small.
Yeah.
I think her intuition is right. I think small text this is such a designer thing to do, by the way.
Yeah.
Is make small text, because we're just adding text isn't really text, more like texture. We're gonna add some texture down here. It should be legible.
Yeah. Yeah.
But make these elegant. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, and I'm not sure. I'm assuming that the heart icon has been tapped. I would say play around with the colors a little bit, because the dark blue behind the heart is very similar to the blue of the other icons. So, I mean, most people will probably know that is the tapped heart, or the favorited, whatever you state, or whatever you want to call it. But maybe try red, see what red looks like. It's pretty universal that red is, something that you've already liked.
Yeah, into it. That's a good That's a good call.
Yeah.
That text looks good there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of, I guess there's probably a lot more. By the way, if this is Daily Creative Challenge, I don't know how these work. If this was how much she did. I mean, this was basically done in 2 weeks. But
Yeah. And she may have done this in just a day, because usually every day is a different challenge.
That's kind of what I was wondering. It's
Yeah.
like if she did this in a day.
Ooh.
Oh, wait up. What? There we go.
Look at that.
You're fancy. Brandy, you are fancy. Oh, I like that.
Oh, you can even swipe between those. Look at those
are
dogs. Those are
good.
cute. The other thing I would say, just on this screen, be careful with the drop shadows. The drop shadows underneath the icon, little dots at the top, probably not necessary.
Yeah, gets a little muddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
I'll talk more about drop shadows tomorrow, but very, very, very subtle. Keep them subtle.
And actually, she might have. I know that video is still playing. It's hard to tell. It might have been done. It's hard to tell if that's compression.
Yeah.
Or if she's done some slight drop shadows other places.
Yeah. But great.
But good call. And you're also thinking. I could imagine she's thinking, what if this is on white? I need it to stand out. I'm sure you could address that, but. And honestly, I wouldn't even go with black with the drop shadow. Maybe it is this blue. I don't know. I don't know. Some thoughts.
Yep.
Either way, Brandy, you are amazing and fantastic. And it looks like, can we just look at this really
this
fast?
is right up your alley.
This is beautiful.
That is nice.
Baby. B, just for fun. I want to know everything about this. So that's my only comment is tell me everything.
Oh, that's true.
It's very nice.
Yeah, why was this made? Was it made for a specific purpose?
How was it done?
What does B stand for?
This kind of looks like it's extruded.
Yeah.
Is it 3D married with 2D? Yeah, I'm just thoroughly impressed. What else you want to look at?
Let's go for the scoot.
Scoot.
Yeah. So this is a scooter rental payment on a watch. Okay. All right. I like the fact that the elements are nice and large. Because I see often people designing for watches, they squeeze a bunch of little buttons that are like 5 different buttons on a screen, or the text is very small. You have to remember, watches are tiny. And there's room for maybe like 1 or 2 interactions on a watch. And the fact that these are fairly large buttons, it works for the most part.
Yeah, I think it works.
Yeah, I would be careful with the yellow on the payment screen, the yellow and the red. It kind of clashes a little bit, looks a bit muddy. So maybe go for a different, I know that's, the color of the card, but I would try something a little bit different for that example.
Yeah. I'm also looking at this screen, but yeah, maybe I'll just kind of go into, stop being so cool. Look at this.
Ooh, fancy.
Another video.
Animation, find a scooter.
Good.
Nice. Very cool. The final thing I'll say, and this is universal for all watch designs. If you have an Apple Watch or you have one of these other watches, go into some of these applications and look at what's the same about all of them. And what you'll find is the majority of applications designed for a watch are very dark. That's because the battery life on watches, at least at the moment, are not very good. So things like using red and bright colors as a background, as a primary color, is going to drain the battery of your device a lot quicker than using basically no background and using the device's black screen, right? So I know it's very flashy to use red and blue and things like that, but realistically, you'll probably want to dial these colors back to compensate for battery life.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But this is great. Like this whole
this
experience
is great.
is
I love the
top
animation.
notch.
Yeah.
Into it, Brandy, and her B was done for Brandy, and it was made in Procreate.
Oh, that makes sense. Brandy for
yeah,
right. B for Brandy.
But now we can't be friends, Brandy. She did in Procreate.
Do it in Fresco. See what. We'd love to see that.
You're still our friend. We're all about it. I will use whatever it takes.
Yeah. What do we got next?
Yeah.
We'll do one more from Brandy, and then we'll move on to the next one.
Yeah, let's kind of dive on this quick one since it's our latest.
Cincinnati.
This
I believe
is super
she is
fun.
from Cincinnati, if I saw that correctly.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fun.
I like the
Lots
little,
of ins and outs.
Yeah, I like those. Those are fun.
Which
that
is
must have taken a while.
such a good trick. I don't know if it's really a trick, but such a good thing to do. Just kind of adds depth.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun.
That's time consuming.
Again, I'd probably want to know more about it, but I don't know. She's like me. Once you're done with a project, you're like, I'm so over it.
Yep.
It's lucky it gets an image. But
it'd be cool if
let's go in here.
if
Boom.
Behance had like a kind of like Dribble, where it's just a shot. Because
Oh,
Behance is
yeah.
very project based. I would love to see, in addition to the projects, just a way to kind of sort and filter by just single images or single videos or prototypes and things like that.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah.
But good job, Brandy. I think you're obviously an awesome designer. Obviously everything from branding, UX, UI, hand lettering. I appreciate her dabbling in all the areas.
Totally.
Good job, Brandy. Congratulations.
Yay.
All right. Let's get a Munir. What?
Hey, Munir. There's
Sorry, but it's Munir's turn.
There's a name I recognize.
Love his logo.
Mm-hmm.
Graphic design, UX. You probably see him a lot. Oh, he's in San Francisco?
Oh, nice.
I didn't know you were in San Francisco.
Oh, remote. Okay, so maybe the company is based in San Francisco.
Oh, I sorry.
Okay,
about
got
that.
it.
Those big words that say remote. He doesn't stop till he's fully satisfied. All right, good to know.
Yep.
Let's move on.
I see
to
Star
Look
Wars.
at all this stuff. Oh, is there a Star Wars in there?
At the very top.
Ooh, there's an Adobe Live. All right, let's just dive into it.
This is for you, Val.
Fine, we're here.
And there's Val on there. Thanks to Voodoo Val and Anna for their feedback and suggestions while designing the
Oh, good. So that's already kind of been reviewed
Ooh.
by them, and it is fantastic. Anytime you can break a border is a good idea. Like, I noticed you did this with your illustrations. It's kind of like, just adds a lot of interest.
Although it does look like there's a little bit of a shadow on there. You can see it behind the... I think so. Yeah, maybe. I would say it's probably, especially Darth Vader is dark, and the background underneath him is white down there. Probably just get rid of that. Get rid of the border. I mean, the shadow. Don't need it.
That sounds good. I don't want to dwell too much on this one because I'm sure it's been already critiqued and actually looks cool.
Yeah, the same feedback I gave Brandy. Bump up the text. It's a little bit small, but yeah, the visuals are great. The border is great.
I think something you did today, which was really clever, is the subtle gradient, and I would love to see that. It could be there, but it's maybe too subtle, so slightly lighter to slightly medium or whatever would be cool. Yeah. But yes, I'm sure this one.
Yeah, and I love the way he uses device frames to showcase all the screens.
Yeah, that is really good. Good presentation for the overall project. There's a lot going on here. Let's kind of scroll down.
I like to see the progression of like the older work, like a very simple heart with a smiley face in it, to very in-depth projects like that Star Wars thing.
I actually want to, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
I was trying to see when this was posted, but cool. That's fun. Good job.
I like the sketch at the bottom.
Yeah. Which one? Of that piece. Yeah.
Let's see.
These are cool.
I'm drawn to those.
Would like to know a little bit more, but these are totally...
I love the color, use of texture and things like that. Yeah, definitely more information would be great.
Colorful mode.
Yeah. Let's go for... let's see that one. Utopia Space Airline. Ooh. Oh, Gus Bot's going to space. Are we sending Gus to space? And Gus Martin.
Oh. Better hurry up. Boarding's starting soon.
Colors are really nice.
Yeah.
The only thing that kind of stands out to me is the text on the left, on this little guy here, the dash text. Might be a little bit difficult to read. It works here at the top because it's a little bit larger, but over on the side it's a little bit. I mean, maybe it's just me. It might be fine.
Yeah, it might be okay. Yeah, man, I really don't know.
I don't know.
I think it looks fine.
Yeah.
I think these tickets in general are really hard to decipher. That's why I'm glad he made this.
Yeah.
Like a typical ticket can be pretty complex. Kathleen, Kathleen got to go to space too. Close one.
Well played.
Yeah, I think what's strongest about this, I think the thing I love the most is this gradient.
Yeah.
I love how this is like kind of semi-transparent. Because if you put something in the center and you make it like all white, it's just might be too dominant.
Yep.
This is very nice. This I wouldn't have made the dotted. So this is considered like a decorative font. Large fonts, decorative, smaller stuff could have just been thin.
Totally.
Right? Like that size. But yeah, that's fun. Boom, boom.
Nice.
Utopia. I'm just jumping. Which?
Yeah, let's do that one.
This one. Okay.
Sure. Ooh. Now this is a nice presentation.
Quality. Ooh.
Yeah.
That's a great name. It's kind of sounds like quality. It's quality.
Yeah. I love when projects start like this with a nice hero image at the top that kind of showcases a few of the images, a few of the screens inside of a device, a little bit of a blurb of what this is, just kind of get me interested, and then. Yeah.
Yeah, this is basically like all your credit cards and memberships and things all in one place.
Yeah.
Probably won't read over all this, but I kind of did the gist. I love what's happening here, which is fun.
Yeah. Gradients are great. I love the use. See, these are gradients. These are really nice. They're not too drastic. They're nice and subtle. The colors are fantastic. Well done.
It's really good.
So for the same feedback, the shadows, good.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
I do have thoughts and suggestions.
Oh, okay. Yeah, shadows. Try to not use shadows. I know the icon's white, and the background's white. See if you can work with that somehow. Maybe put a blob back there. I don't know. And the only thing else I would say is the text, the quality on the icon, the outline is going to be very difficult to see when it's nice and small. Yeah,
I agree. So I was just kind of like looking at this logo. I think this is pretty good. I think you could consider it next level. Imagine if this is almost looks like two cards. Oh. What if it was two cards? One's tilted forward, one's tilted back, and it makes the W. I'm not able to do it right with these two. But it just means adding a line here and then adding a line here. And like trying to make a W is what I was trying to do.
Yeah.
Either way, like good execution, and honestly, based on what you were saying, if this was not outlined, it would probably hold up better smaller.
Yeah. And if you take a look at your phone, if you just open up and swipe up, look at the apps on your phone, almost no apps have the actual name of the application on it. It's all just a logo.
Good point.
So maybe just drop the name completely and just really focus, like Paul was saying, on that cool looking logo that's going to make people remember what that is.
Yeah. That is good.
Yeah.
I like accessing his password. This is a hero project almost, This is super clean, right?
Yeah, the colors are wonderful.
Colors are great. Yep. Very clean.
Yeah.
Like I want this. It's like you should do like UI and UX design for a company or something. I'll stop. But yeah, it looks great. Yeah, stop it already. Yeah, fantastic. A+. Just gave it an A+, or an appreciate, since that's all I can do. Even down into the sketching.
Ooh, fancy.
Look at that. Good job, man.
Nice job.
Well played. Love it all.
Nice.
A+. And I'm glad it's I'm glad it's kind of, actually, this is funny. I mean, he does a lot of work. Okay, so that's the top bar. Yeah, I'm glad it's like the second one there. That's super cool. Kind of have time for one more personal identity. Let's get into Munir's personal identity and all of his details. Is this a business card? I designed a business card, a small resume /CV. Make an ideal design for a personal identity can be a small resume. Okay, so you're making your card a small resume.
Got it. Those are tricky.
Yeah.
Because again, text, small text, very difficult to read sometimes. A lot of people just kind of brush over it if they see a business card with a ton of text on it. They just won't even bother. That's why so many designers these days, their business card is literally their name and a website. That's it. It's very simple.
Yeah, and a lot of people like that white space to even like write something down on, because like if you meet them, you're like, oh, met at this conference, so like giving them a space to write down or like some notes about them is like really good. But I also like this use of a picture, because it's like I think more photos should be used on cards.
Oh, totally.
I recognize him over his name potentially.
Yeah.
There we go. All right, there we go. Everybody see that, world? Everybody now has hit Munir's email.
Oh boy.
Phone number. That's why my camera's trying to shut me off. It's like, whoa, personal details. You better get out of there. So, and actually, on that note, I don't know if you want to put that in a project, but into it. Good job. I like hobbies. He likes
reading, swimming, music, soccer, and that's totally cool and all. I just don't. Just if I'm really thinking about this, if I was handed a business card by somebody who wanted to be my designer, don't take this the wrong way. I don't care if you like swimming. Use that white space to either make all the information breathe a little bit more, or something else.
I was like, does he like bats? What is that? I don't really know what that is.
It's a person swimming.
It is. Man, boy, did I have to squint my eyes. But great job, man. You're quite a designer, and we appreciate you as a designer and as a human being.
Indeed, and thank you for sticking with us for so long. He's been around in the chat for quite a while.
Yeah, he's the man.
Yeah, so thank you, Munir.
I'm glad we're able to review his stuff. So this was good. I guess we're kind of winding down to our last couple
we can hop back to my
minutes.
Screen just for a minute or two.
Yes.
Just to kind of, finish things up. I'm going to tweak these icons just a little bit. Nothing too much. Maybe just bring this size down to, 34. 32 maybe. I know there's like guidelines and stuff you have to follow, but we're going to run with it. And like I was saying earlier, the home icon is solid because that's the screen that the user is on. So these ones are not solid, because those are the other ones, and I might just drop the opacity. You don't want to go too much, because then you can't see it. So maybe just a tiny little bit, maybe 60%. If we take a look at this, it's okay.
Is there a tool in XD that, like a plugin, that will tell you in terms of accessibility if anything is bright enough?
Yes. So the Stark plugin is great for that. Maybe we'll get into that tomorrow, but Stark is a great plugin for that. And maybe just to wrap things up, I might want to extend this artboard down, just so I can we got the photo here. Let me actually just drag in a photo. Got a colorful gallery. I don't know, we'll put in the frog. Frog's cute, right? And then maybe we'll just duplicate this. Where are we? Duplicate this down. Something like that. Wait, did I? Okay. There we go. And I want to make sure to include these icons inside or with my navigation bar. Nav. Now, even though I made this artboard, and I can just drag this down a little bit longer as well. Even though I extended this artboard and I added more information, if I press play and I scroll, you're going to notice something funky. The navigation bar is floating around. The header image is floating as well. We don't want that. We want those fixed into place. So I'm going to make sure that the header is at the top of the stack. So I'm going to bring to front. My navigation bar is also up there, and I'm going to select both of them and fix position when scrolling. This little guy over here, and then I can scroll. And if I want to get really fancy, I can make this background blur just a little bit blurred, and now we have this cool little blur going on. But we'll get more into this tomorrow. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
I love it. Man, I think you got a lot done. Plus, I just like the finesse, the little things in this that just really make it work.
The one thing that's standing out to me right now is that this screen here doesn't really match this. So maybe tomorrow we're going to figure out how to make that match and make it all kind of work together.
And Yeah, and you did mention like sort of light and dark mode and things like that.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to execute that. But
Yeah.
I
And
guess-
Richard's asking, are we making the onboarding screens in dark mode as well? And that's definitely something we can look at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Feel free to voice your opinion tomorrow when we'll be hanging out.
Indeed.
Myself and Howard, we got a full day tomorrow. Feel free to join Claudie tomorrow morning as well, 9 a.m. Pacific time. So thanks for hanging out, everybody. You guys have been fantastic. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks so much, everyone. Big thank you to Howard. Yay! Of course, he did an excellent job because he's the man.
And thank you for hosting. This
Yeah.
has been fun.
It's been a good time.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody. We'll
Thanks,
see
everyone.
you soon.